Hello, James here. Hope you're having this a good morning over here. Well, one discussion is about this Polight case, and I'm going to give you a couple versions. Some people believe he's innocent, and some people believe he's guilty. Some people believe he ain't going to get some prison time, and it's been all over the feed. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you one of the videos and a couple of videos, and then I'll make my commentary.
Her daughter to an after party at a club in Miami. The report states Nowak took the teen to his hotel after seeing that the club was closed. Police say the suspect gave the teen alcohol and started dancing and touching the teen inappropriately, groping her breast, inner thighs, and buttocks. It goes on to say Nowak tried to force the teen to perform oral sex on him. The teen allegedly passed out and woke up to Nowak trying to make her throw up.
These are serious allegations, but in any situation, there is always motive. There is always a lot behind the scenes that the public is not going to be able to see.
The report states that the girl's mother found her intoxicated and possibly on drugs, with severe swelling on her mouth and lips. It later states Nowak told the mother not to call police because it would ruin his career. Nowak was served with a DNA warrant in June and surrendered to police on Monday. Terrorist says the police report is only an allegation.
Both first-degree felony sexual assault charges have been dropped. Let's start it off with this conversation right here. Again, I won't be talking about the case specifically for all the right reasons. I have legal counsel, they're going to do what they got to do. And the reason why we're going to do this is because there's a lot of dishonest, wicked people out there. I've never seen nothing like this, where people literally prey on someone's demise. So I say it again. Both first-degree felony sexual assault charges have been eradicated. They're gone. Does this mean that there's no other fight? No, there's plenty fight. They came up with new counts. Of course, nothing compared to those first-degree felonies, which is crazy. Could I give you life? 30 years in prison. Early. You dig what I'm saying? But it's very interesting because a lot of people spoke out of turn, jumped out the window, accused me of things that not even the prosecution can. If the things that people say on YouTube was accurate, I mean, goddamn, you wouldn't even see me here today. You wouldn't see me here today. So how the hell do these people on the internet know so much, but the legal system don't? The shit that people be saying, if you even writing comments online, lying, blatantly lying on my name, yeah, we're coming for you. You think it's a joke, but this is some serious shit. If you're collecting money off of your videos while misrepresenting what's transpiring in the case, if you're lying on your videos, if you call me out my character, like literally saying I am somebody in particular, I've done something in particular. If you're lying and saying, yeah, I had a previous case before. If you're lying and saying, oh, that's Brother Polight statements. I never made a statement. No statements on mine. I never made a statement to nobody. Nobody on planet Earth has a statement from me. So if you're lying on the internet saying, oh, Polight made a statement and said he was going here and he was doing. If you're using my 2-year-old's face on your video, if you're using my 15-year-old's face on your video, if you're messaging them directly, all that shit is crazy. All of that is crazy. If you want to believe I did something, fine. You're entitled to your belief. But to lie and tell people I did something is two different things. So again, the two worst charges have been reduced. The narrative, that means the narrative has to change. But the Negroes like DNA don't lie. But what they forget to tell you is, people do. I told you guys, get your popcorn, right? So I'm just here to address some popular rumors that have been spread to rectify the matter. There's been a rumor spread. There's two main rumors that's been spread. But the main rumor is that I have pled guilty to molestation. So let me clear up the two things that need to be addressed. Did I make a plea? There's been no plea. Did I plead guilty to child molestation? Never did. So the people that are spreading this rumor, I'm asking you out of respect to my family, respect to my wives, respect to my children, because you clearly hate me. And you clearly hate me more than you have any love for another child. So I ask you guys to respectfully stop spreading rumors. I never made a plea, and I never pled to no damn child molestation. So no matter how much you want to believe it, no matter how much you want to propagate it, no matter how much it excites you to say that, it's absolutely false. I never made a plea, and I never pled to no damn child molestation. So these two things need to be rectified right now. There are no pleas on my behalf, and I have not pledged no damn child molestation. So please stop the freaking rumors. The last thing I'm going to address very quickly. This means that people are lying. If I was lying, you'll be able to find something that contradicts what I'm saying. I made no plea, and there is no plea for child molestation on my behalf. I never plead to no child molestation, and I never made a plea in the first place. These are lies. These are lies. And that's it. Now you can try to turn it into a conversation about what you should say is this, what you should say is that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I ain't paid 6 figures for a defense, for me to be out here speaking on my own behalf during a wild ass situation.
Popular social media influencer Brother Polight was sentenced to 7 years and 10 years probation once upon release. And Brother Polight was accused and convicted of a crime against a 14-year-old girl. According to court documents, the mother let her teenage daughter, 14-year-old, go with Brother Polight to a club. And for whatever reason, that's unknown. Why would the mother do that? Anyway, Brother Polight said that the club was closed. And guess what? He took this 14-year-old girl to the hotel. Now, I'm getting R. Kelly vibes on this one. Keep in mind, R. Kelly didn't ask her. He told her, "Girl, you wanna come to my hotel? Baby, I'll give you my room key. I'm feeling the way you carry yourself, girl." And I can imagine this is what Brother Polight was singing in the back of his mind while he was on the way to the Mandarin Hotel there on South Beach, Miami. Brother Polight said once he got to the club, it was closed. So he decided to take her to the after party. Wow. With the club being closed, you would think Polight would go home, right? Take this girl back to her mother. But no, he deviated from that because he truly had other plans to do what he did, allegedly, right? And no need to ask Novak what time was he planning on taking her back to her mother, because he's having an after party, checking out 6 in the morning. After giving his underage minor alcohol, he got her inebriated to the point that he did some inappropriate things to the young lady, and the allegations of Novak groping her and forcing himself on her and trying to make her throw up after apparently taking alcohol and drugs, and this is all alleged by court documents. Brother Polight took to the internet to explain this side of the story and said that he never took a plea deal and that he never pled guilty to messing with children or any minors in his life. Well, it turns out that this was not true. This is a lie, because there is audio of Polight saying and pleading guilty to these same charges that he claimed that he was not responsible for.
Your Honor, the plea agreement includes an adjudication, 7 years of state prison followed by 10 years of reporting probation. As a condition of probation, the defendant
It's like, what you say, 10 years
10
probation?
years reporting probation. The defendant will complete the MDSO program. The defendant will not be allowed to have unsupervised contact with children. The defendant will have specific terms regarding where he may work and the ability to wear a uniform. There are additional terms of restitution, of which $5,000 has been agreed to be paid upfront within 24 hours, mailed to the to the victim, and additional restitution to be paid out on a monthly basis once he is out of custody. And that monthly amount is highlighted in the written terms of the plea agreement. Additionally, there will be a stay-away order from victim TS and her mother, which is also mentioned in the plea agreement.
What is the total amount of the restitution?
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
True or false? You can pour hot water down a drain to unfreeze your pipes.
Restitution.
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Nowak, the terms of the plea agreement are as what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931? Do you understand everything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison, to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation. In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program, that you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct, State?
And to clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no prohibition on early termination. However, there is a requirement that any modification to this agreement be agreed by the state and the court.
Okay. All right, sir. Now, with respect to this plea agreement, I have on each page, next to defendant's initials MN, did you in fact affix those initials to each page?
I did.
And have you reviewed each and every component of this plea agreement going through page 1 and through page 4?
I have.
Now it says on page 4, having read the above mentioned terms of this plea agreement and having been advised by my counsel, David Terrace, I, Michael Noak, freely and voluntarily enter into this plea agreement and agree to abide by all terms and conditions of this plea agreement, and agree that failure to comply with any terms or conditions within this agreement constitutes a violation of probation and subjects me to be sentenced to the statutory maximum penalties provided by law for the crimes for which I am now pleading guilty. And then it has a signature over the name Michael Noah. Is that in fact your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I am now going to place my signature on this plea agreement, in that I am now going to be ratifying this plea agreement as negotiated between the state of Florida and your attorney.
The evidence ultimately came out that Noah did indeed plead guilty to those charges that he said he didn't. Many people weren't surprised about Polight and how his whole judgment came about with the allegations he had going on in his life, because a lot of people are pointing out, well, hey, he was a follower of a Nuwabian cult leader named Malachi York, and he was swooped up by the feds. That's right, the man that Polight worshipped as a god, literally, on earth. This man was arrested for crimes against children, right? And tons of people, right, heap loads of folks testified that yes, he indeed did these nasty, vile things to these children.
We learned from radio communication that his vehicle had pulled into a parking lot of a grocery store. The SWAT team was there and the arrest teams. Our job was to make sure we could identify him. He got out of the vehicle with the female who was going into the grocery store. It was at that point we see the arrest go down.
When York was arrested, that was the go-ahead for the rest of the SWAT team to go enter the compound.
The sheriff led the convoy. We busted through the gates, just drove right through. There were FBI agents rappelling down from the helicopters.
Every time you sit behind the wheel, you buckle up for the unexpected.
It was a tactical assault.
After Malachi Z. York's compound was raided by the authorities, the Nawabian cult leader received backlash, and so did his parishioners, his followers. A man who was allegedly abused by Mr. York spoke out, and Brother Polight defended York. It seems as if Polight took a stance as, hey, this guy didn't do this, why are you lying on Malachi Z. York? But this young man insists that Malachi did do this to him between the ages of 7 and 14.
I'm speaking on behalf of the children or the people that had to testify or that testified.
To testify based on what that he did do something to him.
Well, I say had to testify because some people didn't testify. So some people felt that that they had to do this, like it's something that they had to do. For me, it felt like it was something that I had to do. Because one, like I told you, both my sisters went through the same thing I went through. And both my older sisters.
Do you mind sharing? I don't know.
Sharing what? Okay, well, both of my sisters been molested. About Malachi York. About Pops, Barbara, you know, Esau, Mom, Esau, whatever, you know, and I went through the same thing that they went through. Like, I'm my mother's only son. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the man of the family. You know what I'm saying? My sister's gonna stand up for themselves, and I'm, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, well, and then that's when I gave my statement, and that's when I decided that, that I was gonna go ahead and do it. You know, so it's not no stranger, no random person that's saying, oh, this happened. I mean, this started like, I was 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was upstate New York. After Brooklyn, I was upstate New York when he first, just touched me or whatever. Well, that's, and so from 7 to 14, 7 years that I went through this, you know what I'm saying? And that's impossible.
People tell the world that none of these children had enough sense in their mind to go tell their parent that this isn't right. I've been touched sexually, I've been sexually abused. Not one child out of all these children. It could have stopped so long ago if just one child or just one adult. What caused all of this to come out? First you hear nothing from nobody.
Yeah.
You hear nothing from nobody. Then you hear something from everybody, all at the same time.
They might not have been the medium to talk to anybody about the situation.
Not even their parents.
I mean, that's why, of course. I could have talked to I could have told my mother.
We chose not to.
It's not that I chose not to. To really explain it would really take a lot. But I mean, you're not really yourself when you're not, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got esteem. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no. You know what I'm saying? You can't even face, like, my mother had to, when she found out from my sister and she came to me and asked me about it, and I still really couldn't even tell her. I had to say, well, I had sex with the girl and he was there. And that was my way of telling her that, yeah, it happened.
Why do you think he's locked up for 135 years, underground 60 feet, in a super max penitentiary with no one with a case like it to his own amongst cannibals?
Are you hearing what I'm saying? You got people saying that kids haven't been molested. I can't see what you're seeing. I can't see I know what happened to me. I know what he did. I know what kind of person he is. You know what I'm saying? So,
what kind of person he is? That's a question I want to ask you. What kind of person is Dr.?
I mean, you get what you see.
Let's say he molested 1,000 children. Factual. Genetic evidence and everything. Things that we don't deny. Scientifically, we say, wow, okay, true. If someone was to ask me, would you still worship him as your Most High, acknowledge him as your Most High God? I would have to.
Even after all the allegations, Polight said he would still worship Dr. Malachi Z. York as his Savior. Wow. And it's no mystery why he was victim blaming the victim, the young man who said that Dr. York did all these things to him when he was a young boy. 2 years after being silent about the whole ordeal between her teenage daughter and Brother Polight, the former girlfriend of Brother Polight,
Michael Nowak.
And she had this to say.
This is the first time I have spoken publicly about what you've done to my daughter and I have gracefully remained silent the last 2.5 years. 2.5 years of pain, shock, disbelief, PTSD, constant nightmares, and daily triggers. Trying to help my daughter heal when I'm not even healed myself. What you have done to my daughter, myself, and my entire family is inexcusable. You hurt us all. You made me believe that you were such a great man and you could do no wrong. You made me fully trust you, and for that my daughter trusted you too. But the truth is, you're a monster. The very first time that I allowed you to be alone with my daughter, the very first time, and you couldn't even help yourself.
Damn.
You told me you was gonna be right back through going downstairs. You're gonna grab food and take vacation pictures. You told me that you wanted to have a one-on-one talk with her about loving and respecting me as a great mother that I was and am. And I actually believed you. I believed that you were going to bring her right back. I thought you were going to have this trusting conversation with her that you promised me. Her and I both trusted you. For a grown man to violate a child who trusted him, you should be ashamed of yourself. You plotted on me and my little girl. The entire time you knew what you planned to do. Isolate, intoxicate, then violate. You told me you were going to be right back through going downstairs. You're going to grab food and take vacation pictures. You told me that you wanted to have a one-on-one talk with her about loving and respecting me as a great mother that I was and am. And I actually believed you. I believed that you were going to bring her right back. I thought you were going to have this trusting conversation with her that you promised me. Her and I both trusted you. For a grown man to violate a child who trusted him, you should be ashamed of yourself. You plotted on me and my little girl. The entire time you knew what you planned to do. Isolate, intoxicate, then violate. You're gonna grab food and take vacation pictures. You told me that you wanted to have a one-on-one talk with her about loving and respecting me as a great mother that I was and am. And I actually believed you. I believed that you were gonna bring her right back. I thought you were gonna have this trusting conversation with her that you promised me. Her and I both trusted you. For a grown man to violate a child who trusted him, you should be ashamed of yourself. You plotted on me and my little girl. The entire time you knew what you planned to do. Isolate, intoxicate, then violate my baby. Shame on you. I trusted you to bring her right back. You were supposed to bring her back the same way that you took her. Instead, you drugged her and took advantage of her. You sexually abused her. You forced alcohol down her throat. You then forced her to see things that no child should ever see. You forced her to feel things that no child should have to feel. You
forced her to accept violence that no child should ever have to endure. You forced drugs in her that no human should ever even ingest.
And I'm going to show you what his response was on his next video. But I'm going to go back to the rest of what that woman said. But this is what he claims on this video.
The types of lies they said for that night.
And he's still in denial. The arrogance of this guy is unbelievable.
Like that to get your blood pressure machine shit like $20. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing. It's
gonna make you
an
mad.
essential product, but we do want you to get your essential products first. Get that out of the way, then you go ahead on and grab your blood pressure. California sending love for y'all coming through like I like it. That's what I'm talking about. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Say Sugar from Mississippi's in the building. Said the 989 Saginaw, Missouri. They called another live from the.
The rape kit came up all negative, which science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of.
Now watch it. I ain't even watched it.
Science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of. Okay?
I ain't watched it.
Alright. That's what science would suggest.
I don't know how long it is.
Science would suggest that. But here's this woman talking about this DNA.
Oh, snap the hell. Oh, no.
He's in complete denial.
Like that. Oh, don't do it like that.
The mother and the daughter and the prosecution dropped every single sexual charge. I'm saying it again. The mother, the daughter, my accusers, in addition to the state, the prosecution, all agreed they need to drop all of the sexual charges. So yeah, it's a victory, but it's bittersweet. It's a victory because I was facing life. No parole, no probation. Now you may say, how could this be possible if a minor was so-called molested and it was DNA evidence? And people say DNA don't lie. And I always say people do. Well, let's do this. The serologist, the expert that so-called found 6 semen stains amongst a headscarf and a t-shirt. Never mind the fact the whole rape kit said negative. They checked this girl for 5 different types of DNA, finger DNA, all types of different DNA. Checked her.
Okay. I got the video. I had to download it. So this is the 9-minute video. I ain't even know it. I got it though. Let's bring it up some.
Never mind the fact the whole rape kit on face out, bust the mouth open. Took a look. Look beat up, but it's a court-appointed stenographer that types up everything the prosecutor can hear.
My bad. My apologies. I'm so sorry.
Everything as it goes, so they can make a determining factor if they got a case or not. Point in case, we couldn't interview the serologist, Stephanie Thompson, because she mysteriously disappears when we want to question her about how she came up with those results. I'll say it again. The person who said that there was semen stains on the headscarf and the shirt, despite the fact the rape kit tested for 5 different DNAs, considering the egregious acts that I was accused of, the rape kit came up all negative, which science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of.
Say, well, I am not a lawyer, but the recording that the judge was on, not lining up to what he's saying. I'm not a lawyer either. I don't.
Science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of. Okay? Alright? That's what science would suggest. Science would suggest that. But here's this woman talking about this DNA evidence, and then now when we call her so we can interview her, get a deposition, and have it on record with my attorneys questioning them based on the findings of our forensic expert, she's nowhere to be found. So you know what we can do now? We can file a motion to dismiss the DNA for the case. That's what we could do. Because if won't be able to cross-examine her because suddenly she disappears. She works for some private company and no one can find her. Now, all the while, the state been giving me opportunities to plead 20 years sexual offender, plead 15 years sexual offender. And I'm like, I wouldn't care if you gave me 1 day in prison. So long as you got that label registered sex offender on there, I'm going to trial. So long as you got that label there, registered sex offender, I'm going to trial because I can never make a plea to something like that.
Say, Willie, what if what he's saying is true? That's a mistrial. Say he would have not been convicted. You got a great point right there. So I am under the assumption that this is the day before or the day of. I don't get it. Shout out to our Dodger Trap for being a member for 18 months and say, can we sure or sue the mama for having to sit through her damn soliloquy? More proof that if a baby is talking, that this line. I'm so confused. Mind you, I didn't watch this. I don't know.
So guess what happens? The state says if we ever want to do interviews, depositions, if we ever want to get a deposition from the mother and a deposition from the daughter, all bets are off. They'll never do an agreement with me. They said they'll never do an agreement. Never do an agreement. Work out an agreement or a plea. I said, I don't give a... My attorneys will tell you straight up, because when you see my attorney video, he's going to tell you straight up. From day one, I said, I'm never doing an agreement to any sexual charges. Interview the mother and the daughter, so they had to last about depositions. We got the police body cams. We realized that the police report contradicts the affidavit that they did. The affidavit contradicts the interview.
Believe all plea deals, huh? They didn't get 7 years. Yeah, he got 7 to 10 probation.
Views that they did on the body cam. So we got 3 contradictions. The story that the mother and daughter tells on the body cam, the stories that they told in the police report, and the stories that they tell on the affidavits. None of them work out. And I'm going to speak about that. Well, ultimately, we want to interview them. So when we interview them and do our depositions, have the prosecutor sit there, we already know where they're lying. We already know their lies. We looked at each of the 3 different types of lies they said for that night. So guess what's going to happen when we get to interview them? We're just going to ask them questions so they can contradict themselves. So when we go to court, we can ask them which story is true and why did you lie? So the prosecutor hits us again. Well, you know he's going to be facing life. We're in the week now where we got to interview the mother and the daughter to get the deposition. So guess what happens 2 days before the mother and daughter supposed to fly into town for us to get the depositions? They call. After a week ago of threatening me, 2 days before the mother and daughter supposed to fly out, they say, hey, we drop all the sexual charges. Huh? They say we're dropping all the sexual charges. And let me add something to this. Y'all heard this crazy story that I called a grown woman and asked if I could take her 14-year-old girl to a party. And y'all believe that bullshit?
That's what I was like. That shit, that don't even much make no damn sense. That part really didn't make no sense. I want to take your 14-year-old daughter to an after party in Miami. You can't go to can't no 14-year-old go to no damn after party. An after party is an after the club. Makes no sense to me. But
guess what my text messages say? My text messages say she asked me. Oh, let's reverse. Do you know that we broke up that same day, and later that? Within a day, within 24 hours, she filed a criminal complaint. Let's add some more color to it. Do you know that the same day that I broke up with her, in my text messages is proven, she said she was going to destroy my life. She was going to fuck my whole shit up.
Shout out to Houston for the $2 super chat. Say Poe got COVID out here in these streets. They serve semen samples. There it is.
So we have motive. Do you know that I wasn't the one that asked to take her daughter to a party after after 2 a.m. in the morning, do you know my text messages say? She contacted me and asked me to take her daughter out to a party after 2 a.m. in the morning, and I vehemently declined. I said, what the hell do I look like as a grown man taking a 14-year-old that obviously looks like a minor to a party? Y'all don't know that though.
Boy, hey, watch it. Boy, Polight good, boy. Boy, Polight, boy, you sharp, boy. Go ahead, Phil.
All of this is in my text messages. Y'all don't know that though.
Show me text message.
So you say, well then, Polight, then you should be clean. I should be, but unfortunately, the mother turned her daughter in. The daughter got high and intoxicated, and because I'm not the one that turned them in, now we dealing with child abuse and delinquency of a minor. If they could, so I'm like, let's fight it. So my attorney's like, I just want you to understand that this child abuse in Florida, aggravated child abuse, from the child being intoxicated, they can give you 30 years in prison. I'm like, man, take the goddamn agreement. If, under what circumstances, if they can convince a jury that whether you gave her alcohol or you was aware that she was high at any point in time and you didn't turn her in, but since the mother did, you can be subject to 30 years. So let's make a goddamn agreement, man, and let's work this thing out. So still gotta sit down somehow, some way.
Still got to sit down somehow, some way. So this had to be before the plea. Say, when they broke up the same day and the daughter goes to a party with him, he needs to stop, say he making it worse.
But it is what it is. Blessings in abundance is bittersweet. Oh my goodness. And more information is going to come out. This shit is far from over for all the lies that was told on me. Peace.
Hey. Boy, when he said, but, gotta go sit down somewhere.
Motive. Do you know that I wasn't the one that asked to take her daughter to a party after 2 a.m. in the morning? Do you know my text messages say? She contacted me and asked me to take her daughter out to a party after 2 a.m. in the morning, and I vehemently declined. I said, what the hell do I look like as a grown man taking a 14-year-old that obviously looks like a minor to a party? Y'all don't know that though. All of this is in my text messages. Y'all don't know that though.
Message?
Well, the black woman is God though, pimp, you know.
So you say, well then, Polight, then you should be clean.
You should be clean.
Should be, but unfortunately, the mother turned her daughter in.
Fortunately, turned her daughter in.
The daughter got high and intoxicated, and because I'm not the one that turned them in, now we dealing with child abuse and delinquency of a minor. If they could, so I'm like, let's fight it. So my attorney's like, I just want you to understand that this child abuse in Florida, aggravated child abuse, from the child being intoxicated, they can give you 30 years in prison. I'm like, man, take the goddamn agreement. If, under what circumstances, if they can convince a jury that whether you gave her alcohol or you was aware that she was high at any point in time and you didn't turn her in, but since the mother did, you could
turn who in? Turn the child in and turn the child into who? I don't get that part. So, if a child is intoxicated, a 14-year-old, you're supposed to turn the child in and turn the child into who?
Under what circumstances? If they can convince a jury that whether you gave her alcohol or you was aware that she was high at any point in time and you didn't turn her in, but
I don't know to turn into who?
Since the mother did, you can be subject to 30 years.
The mother turned her daughter into who?
So let's make a goddamn agreement, man, and let's work this thing out. So still gotta sit down somehow, some way, but it is what it is. Blessings in abundance is bittersweet. Oh my goodness. And more information is gonna come out. This shit is far from over for all the lies that was told on me. Peace.
Heard, pimp. Hey, black woman is God though. You know? Hey, man, tell you what it is, pimp. Tell you what it is. You say nothing Something was dropped, sir. You made a plea deal. The family agreed so that your victim wouldn't have to testify and reveal her identity. Enjoy those 7 years of PC. Say, bro. We can just look up the MDCR inmate search. Your charge. Say, Polight had how you even get in this situation. I'm gonna tell you how. Behind that moment. And if it is true that they broke up that same day, which that is believable to me. That is believable to me, especially when you have something. When you have something and the broad don't want to break up with you, alright. I'm still not taking away from whatever was done with the child. I ain't even taking that. I'm not taking that part away. I'm just speaking on some other shit. See, I'm sick of you, Willie. You leave your daughter with him then. Say, oh, you say I'm sick of you, Willie. Say you leave your daughter with him then. Well, hell, my daughter would be smart. I'm a man, so there's no reason for me to have left, like, my daughter with him anyway. This is a woman's problem. Y'all picking. Y'all is picking. Even she said in her statement, in her victim statement, he said that he was just going downstairs to take vacation pictures and shit. Wait, what? Why y'all didn't all go downstairs? Why? I need to talk to her alone so I can talk to her about how good of a mother that you are. Wait, what? That don't make no damn sense to me at all. I don't give a damn what happened. That don't make no damn sense to me. Say this weird, Slim. You say, we'll see you in about 2 weeks. Say you saying one thing, the courts is saying, report for 7 years. Yeah. Say he made this before he went into custody. He needs to do a live. You say you a freak, Slim. You say these bulls. You say them bulls gonna get you in the big house. Say you been exposed, still no remorse, sad. You say I heard the mother's testimony when she was speaking out before he got sentenced. Florida gonna have a field day with him in the penitentiary. Sir, you took a plea, and we heard the mother speak. Get a effing life. You're a sexual deviant that fooled your community. Cut it off. My problem is, notice, I can kind of believe him with the DNA part. Because if the DNA was on him, on her clothing, I do not know a district attorney in the country would say we gonna take that there off the table. I don't know a DNA in the country because that is 100% proof that something sexual happened. Your DNA should not be on a headscarf and or a shirt. So, shout out to Houston for the $5 super chat. Say line.
Stop right there.
Justice has finally been served. On this day, September 6, 2023, Michael Nowak, aka Brother Polight, has been found guilty of violating his ex's 14-year-old daughter. And he's going to serve 7 years and he will have 10 years of probation. In this video here, I'm just showing you the delusions. This man is throwing a party for himself saying that his charges are dropped. He also posted earlier on Instagram his charges are dropped. He showed that he was in the gym, having a great time. He's living his best life. He even made a music video in reference to his case, which I'm going to play at the end. And no, I'm not promoting him. I just want you to see what narcissism looks like. You know, I speak about narcissism a lot. He is one of them. He's actually one of the worst kind. One that will violate a child. There's full proof and he'll still deny it. He was the cause of someone being so depressed and stressed out to where he lost his life. This sentence isn't enough. It really isn't. But he'll probably pay behind those walls. God knows what will happen there. But let me go ahead and play this video for you. This is the Zoom court hearing, okay? So in this court hearing, you will hear him plead guilty. And directly after that, I will just play the impact statement of the mother of the victim. So you guys, go ahead, use the video as you will. It's easier to just have a straightforward audio of what happened. So if you need to use this as reference in your videos, you can go right ahead. I want to shout out to the woman who posted this on her Instagram. Thank you so very much. Her name is on the actual clip that you're about to listen to, and go ahead and follow. This right here is Brother Polight's last couple of posts on Instagram, acting as if he's unbothered, claiming that he is not guilty and charges are dropped. Oh hell no, I had to take a second to read this. DNA don't lie, but people do. That's why all the sex charges are dropped. I cannot believe this. Y'all, let's just get into the video.
Please welcome to the testimony about to give business from the whole.
Okay, I'll need the old information. I want the defendant to be aware of what he was originally facing and what the new information. This is the new information.
I didn't give it to you. Oh, I have one back here.
All right. Okay, can you tell me your full name and date of birth?
Michael Eugene Note Jr., August 10, 1983.
All right, thank you. You were originally charged under case number F21-14438 with the following charges: lewd and lascivious molestation on a child, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Count 2 was lewd and lascivious molestation on a child, 12 to 16 years, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Lewd and lascivious conduct on a child under 16 by a defendant 18 or over, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Count 4, lewd and lascivious exhibition on a child under 16 years, defendant over 18, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. And contributing to the dependency of a child, a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. And then count 6 is interference with custody, a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years state prison. The state has now filed an amended information today, charging you with the following: aggravated child abuse, great bodily harm, a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years state prison. Count 2 is aggravated child abuse, great bodily harm, a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years state prison. And contributing to the dependency of a child, a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. It is my understanding that you wish to plead guilty to this new information. You would be adjudicated guilty, and your sentence has been memorialized in a 4-page plea agreement. Did you have the opportunity to go over this plea agreement with your lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. I do need the defendant to initial each page because there are not initials on these pages. Okay. Joack, that you have gone over this plea agreement with your lawyer, and I want to go over it with you, not each and every aspect of it, but the major components of the plea agreement. But what I am going to ask is for the state to tell me the general terms of the plea agreement, and then we will go into the details on the contract. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the plea agreement includes an adjudication, 7 years of state prison followed by 10 years of reporting probation. As a condition of probation, the defendant
When you say 10 years,
10 years reporting probation. Okay. The defendant will complete the MDSO program. The defendant will not be allowed to have unsupervised contact with children. The defendant will have specific terms regarding where he may work and the ability to wear a uniform. There are additional terms of restitution, of which $5,000 has been agreed to be paid upfront within 24 hours, mailed to the to the victim, and additional restitution to be paid out on a monthly basis once he is out of custody. And that monthly amount is highlighted in the written terms of the plea agreement. Additionally, there will be a stay-away order from victim TS and her mother, which is also mentioned in the plea agreement.
What is the total amount of restitution?
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Nowak, the terms of the plea agreement are as what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931? Do you understand everything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation. In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program. That you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct?
To clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no prohibition on early termination. However, there is the requirement that any modification to this agreement be agreed by the state and the court.
Okay. All right, sir. Now, with respect to this plea agreement, I have on each page, next to defendant's initials MN, did you in fact affix those initials to each page?
I did.
And have you reviewed each and every component of this plea agreement going through page 1 and through page 4?
I have.
Now it says on page 4, having read the above mentioned terms of this plea agreement and having been advised by my counsel, David Terrace, I, Michael Note, freely and voluntarily enter into this plea agreement and agree to abide by all terms and conditions of this plea agreement and agree that failure to comply with any terms or conditions within this agreement constitutes a violation of probation and subjects me to be sentenced to the statutory maximum penalties provided by law for the crimes for which I am now pleading guilty. And then it has a signature over the name Michael Noah. Is that in fact your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I am now going to place my signature on this plea agreement, in that I am now going to be ratifying this plea agreement as negotiated between the state of Florida and your attorney. Has anybody, including your lawyer, told you anything differently than what I've just told you?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication affecting your ability to understand me?
No.
Is anybody forcing, threatening, or coercing you to enter into this plea?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, the entry of this plea will have negative immigration consequences, including deportation and removal?
I understand.
You had the right, sir, to have gone to a jury trial where your lawyer had the ability to compel the attendance of witnesses on your behalf, the ability to confront and cross-examine the witnesses and evidence against you. You had the right to testify just like any other witness or remain silent and your silence could not have been used against you if you went to a jury trial. You also have the right to appeal any mistakes that I would have made during the course of the trial, and the right to hold the state of Florida to the burden of proving these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand, sir, that by entering into this plea, that you are giving up all of these rights and we will not have a jury trial?
I do.
Have you discussed this plea with your lawyer?
Yes.
Has he answered all of your questions?
Absolutely.
His mother, and she will be listed as victim Nowak in the Zoom, and she is requesting, pursuant to Marcy's law, that her identity remain anonymous. So for that reason, she will not be stating her name, but she will be making a statement regarding this.
Where would it be?
It should say victim, and then in parentheses Nowak.
So, of course, you've heard the mother. This man is sick. This man, he stepped down on the previous video live and said that then take it in the grand jury. Now you just heard what the judge said. He had a chance, but he didn't take it to jury. Why didn't he take it to jury? Second thing is, that was the case that if he had proof that she did that, why did he show the text? See, he's a very, very crafty manipulator. And then a couple of times, if you really hear it, he kind of had a story kind of conundrum. He is a narcissist. What the woman said in his video, this guy's a narcissist. He's clearly a narcissist. Not only that, he blamed the victim on the first video. That young man, he took what that guy called Dr. York side, who clearly was evidence on the video that this guy did some violation to young children when the guy was a child. So he's in agreement. So you see how he was influenced. They're under the same demonic spirit. But he felt like his thing is crafty. And even if he does get out 7 years, his reputation is ruined. He may not ever come back to social media, because the social media platforms have a thing too about people who are child violators. So he's gonna find some other way to hustle and somebody to come on someone else's channel. Yeah, this guy is very, 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 very sick. What he said, and he is a narcissist, and he deserved to get the book thrown at him. And what he said to that young man, he deserved to get from his earlier times. So, and I don't see what the women who had his children, what they seen in that guy. I don't see what they seen in him. Man, and I feel sorry for his children. Man, wow, that they dad messed the young lady up for life. So, but yeah, he's gonna find the hard way when he gets to prison. Yeah, he better be putting isolation population, because he put in the population, it's over, and then that got back to the population, and everybody know, and he should know how they feel about people who put their hands on young people in prison, especially children. Oh yeah, just like the case with what happened with my friend and his son. Yeah, when you go to jail, prison, and they find that out, they hate that. Yeah, he better have some protection in there. That's all I would say, because the evidence is there. And the judge even said it, man. It wasn't coerced or nothing. You heard it from the judge's own mouth. And earlier you heard the victim of the statement. I don't want to play it again. It's very very sad, and my heart goes out to the child and her mother. But anyway, yeah, this show to go, young ladies, be careful what kind of man you bring into your life when it comes to men like Polight. Don't be caught up with the foolishness. All right then, ladies and gentlemen, Hope you be blessed. Until next time, see you on the next video. Until next time, take care.